Miss Katisha. Erin, it's good to see you here. Good morning. Good morning. It's 12 o'clock. We have a quick hour that's going to pass really, really fast. I'll give people a couple more minutes. It's always interesting. We've got like 30 people now registered for this live presentation, and let's hope that a few more show up. If not, then we're going to have some really, here they come. We're going to have a really awesome time. Small groups are okay with me. I get to spend more time with all of you. If you can, in the chat box, I know who you are, but please share with me who you are, where you're from, and tell me what you do. If you have your pitch, then put it in. Hello, Miss Charmaine. Sexy mamas today.
Hello, Gina.
Can you all hear me good?
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, give us your pitch. Put it in the chat box here. What's your pitch? Where you're from? And in the meantime, I'm going to share my screen and go through a brief presentation. And then once we finish the presentation, because we want to give you some information that's going to help you with your pitch. And then we're going to have an opportunity at the end where one-on-one, we can talk directly to you. I can talk directly to you, and we can, hear where you're at, what you're doing, and see if we can't help you. Because the goal for today, I want you to think about this, that everything you do has an outcome. What's the outcome that you're looking to get from this conversation? And so for me, my wish for you is that it's going to give you a pitch that you can start working with. But here's the one thing that I want you to hear when I say it, is that when you have your pitch, start using it. Don't change it. Don't alter it. Don't, mix it all up or try to make it better. Just go with what you've come up with. Okay. And then once you have that pitch, just start using it. Now we're going to do this again next Thursday, so you feel free to come back in and have a conversation with me and share with me how it's going. There's a couple links that I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to share in the chat box. These links are a couple of ways that you can connect with me. The first way that you may want to connect with me is that I have a group. I have a private group on Facebook, and it is called How to Close Clients Quickly and Make $1 Million, because I have closed clients quickly, and my largest revenue month in any given year has been 1.2 million. So you'll find out about me that I don't say what I can't do. I'm only going to tell you what I can do. There's the Facebook group link. There is also, we have a program coming up, a 3-day retreat that's called Heart-Centered Sales. So if you find sales really, really challenging, yes, your pitch is where it starts. But if I can find the landing page for it, I'll share it with you. Here it is. Love my team. They're so wonderful. This is some information about a business retreat that we have. And if you feel free to go to my website, I'm going to share that as well, because one of the things that we do that's magical is in our programs of teaching is, we use horses, and horses are magical and mystical, but they are 100% positive change. It's a beautiful adventure. You don't need any experience. There's no riding involved. It's all good. And then I'm going to share one more link with you. And this link is that at the end of this presentation, if you want to dive in even deeper about where your business is and where you want to take it to, then I encourage you, that last link is what we call either a strategy call or a breakthrough call, where we really dive into where you are, what's going on with your business, and where you want to be. And that's a complimentary call. It's about 45 minutes long, and we can go from there. So let me share my screen and get this let's get it going. Dun, 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 dun. You know what? Let's do it this way. Nope, that's not what I want. Hold on. Technical difficulties. There we go. Let me get rid of this. I got to get rid of this. And I got to open up this. Okay. Let's get you guys off the screen. Here we go. Are we ready? So how to dial in your pitch that gets qualified leads and referrals. This is a hot topic because so many people are looking at, well, how do I generate leads? And the very first place that it starts when we talk about social media today is going to be, you used to be able to have face-to-face conversations. So you had 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now you have 30 seconds. And so the best way, we a 30-second pitch, we want to make sure we dial this in so that it's so clear that it helps people understand what it is you do so that you can make that initial connection. It is so easy to do this that it's complicated because why? Humans like to complicate things. All right. So again, I've asked if you can in the chat, share some information about yourself. Let's hear your pitch. If you have one, where you are, where you're from. I always like to see that. But I also want you to give yourself permission today, right? When you're here with me, and I know that Katisha, you're coming back for a second time. If you can, I know that you've heard this information, but give yourself permission to be 100% present again, because what you've heard the first time is not necessarily what you're going to hear the second time. And there's a reason why you're here. There's no coincidence that we're working together. So give yourself permission, shut your cell phones off, turn them over, put them on the floor, hide them under a pillow, do whatever you have to do to kind of safeguard and put up that boundary so you can be 100% present. And we talk about first who this is for. We want to remind you is that I specifically work with those that are service providers, right? So you have to have a service that you offer someone else that's for the benefit of them, and you're struggling to get clients. So that may be small business owners, financial planners or advisors, could be a sales agent for a company, a solo entrepreneur, but you have to have a particular service that you offer that's for the benefit for someone else. You have to be passionate about the work and talk to if you're passionate about your work and you talk to everybody in hopes of earning their business, well, then of course you're in the right place. So now my promise to you is that I'm going to give you a step-by-step strategy that's going to help you to dial in your pitch. And over the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about how to dial it in so that you can get qualified leads. Now, remember, when we dial the pitch in, what's going to begin to happen is we're going to start to build that inner self-esteem and that confidence. And that confidence is going to come because you understand what it is you do and who you do it for, that it's going to make that marketing ability much easier. So you can start to hit your income goals. And what I like to say is that when not only hit your income goals, but go far beyond. And then also eliminate any self-doubt that you may have or your inabilities, so that what we want is you to get excited about going out and offering to the world what it is that you have. And when we have this pitch, it helps to dial in all of those things that gives you the confidence and builds that self-esteem. Oops. Let me ask you a couple questions. So a couple of things here. And if you can, please share in the chat. Are your days filled with doubt about what you offer? Yes or no? Therefore, when you introduce yourself to people, your messaging is always changing. So depending on who you're standing in front of, depends on what it is that you say. If that's you, hit yes in the box. Do you often have internal conversations with yourself, right? Like, nobody has money right now. People aren't looking for this type of service. I don't know, maybe you can share an internal conversation that you have, a comment. Whoops. Why does it keep doing that? There we go. An internal conversation. I'm trying to think of some others that I've had most recently. One of the gals I remember talking to said that their internal conversation is, what if I don't have the right answers? Right? What if I get in front of someone and I don't have the right answers, right? And maybe this is you as well, is that you lay awake at night because you're stressing over how you're going to connect with new clients, where you're going to connect with new clients, and you're struggling with that fear, right? Fear of not having the right answers, not knowing, God forbid they say no, maybe you'll be rejected, things like that. If that's all of this, you're sitting here and your head is nodding and you're going, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. But did you have a conversation with my husband? Then you're in the right spot. Well, this is a really big question that I like to ask, because this is often very true for a lot of people, is that they feel like there's this invisible block. Like you're working really hard, you have all the right pieces, you know what it is you're doing, you've got this passion, but it feels like there's this invisible barrier that's blocking us from getting those qualified clients and closes, right? Well, none of that is the problem, but it can get worse. And here's how it can get worse. There's internal suffering that happens when we have these negative thoughts, and it impacts our sales. But not only does it impact our sales and our money, that particular type of stress that you get is going to start affecting your life, your relationships, your sleep patterns, your health. Everything begins to get affected from it, right? Unfortunately, you may get frustrated, short-tempered, angry, whatever it may be. I want you to understand this when I say this, because stress was a big part of my life. And when I was 35, I was having a heart catheterization already. So I understand the internal thoughts and what they can do for you, what they can do for you or not for you in that sense. But stress is an energy form that lives inside our body. And because it lives inside of our body, it first starts in our mind and it travels down into our organs. And so it begins to tear down that body and the organs, and it's going to make you sick. So if you have any type of chronic illnesses that are going on, I'm telling you, if you can start controlling the way you think and what it is that what you want, you're going to find out that your health is going to begin to improve. But if you don't fix it, it's kind of like a bleeding neck, right? If you stuck a fork in your neck, you can't get the blood from stopping. It's just going to continue to evolve. I know that's a horrific example, but I want you to know that it is horrific. And when someone said to me, when I was 35, that if I didn't do something about my stress sooner than later, that I would be sitting on a hospital bed. When you have 4 small kids at home and you're 35 years old and you're thinking, oh my God, why didn't I listen? Stress is a real thing, and it does cause some major issues. So my hope today is that we're going to relieve some of that stress, and we're going to give you some answers, and we're going to give you some clarity. But remember, this isn't the end to all things. This is just the beginning of what you have to do when you're building your business. I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions here. First off, oops. Hey, who's on my computer? A couple of questions. First off, how much have you invested in stress? How much time? How many years? If you dare, please share in the chat box with me. How much have you invested in fear? How many hours? How much you think it's cost you even, right? When we talk about investment, how much money? If you're dealing with stress or fear or anxiety and things like that, and you're going to the doctor and you're having chronic health issues, how much have you spent in time and just money and medical stuff because of it, right? And how much have you invested in doubt and self-esteem? These are major problems that happen. They're 100% real. But the good thing is that you're not alone. A lot of people suffer with this. But here's the real problem. Okay. The real problem is, first off, you haven't been taught the importance of your pitch. When you can start to control the way your mind thinks and take specific action steps, all of a sudden things begin to align. And so we want to start off with aligning that part of your business, which is the initial conversations that you have. And so when you have a pitch that's authentic to you, because you know what, many people that we work with seem to be in the insurance industry, and the insurance industry has a lot of products out there. And in teaching and going through their trainings, even in financial aspect, when you're going through different company trainings, they're giving you scripts, right? And unfortunately, I believe that there is not a one size fit all when it comes to scripts. The scripts have to be authentic to who you are, your life experience, your knowledge, what you know, and what you're willing to do for people. So when you have that authentic script, you'll have complete control over the mindset, right? Because it's coming from inside of you. You're going to know who you work with. You're going to know how you help them. And you're actually going to look forward to those sales conversations because you yourself have the clarity and the confidence now to successfully close them. And what we see immediately is that the closing rates easily begin to go up. The conversations become more fun. And you're no longer feeling stressed and anxious about having those conversations because you now understand the problem that you solve. Now, without the pitch, you're going to talk to everyone hoping and wishing you're going to get a client. And I get it. In the beginning, I remember when I started out in real estate years ago, it was like anybody was your client and you work 7 days a week. Nonsense. When I go back 30 years, when I started in real estate, I was crazy. I mean, I worked on Thanksgiving. My family wanted to kill me at times because I was running out the door to make a deal. You'll never hit your income goal. You'll make tons of excuses because of your lack of success. You're going to just to justify that hard work. You're going to take on any client because you need the money, and you're going to learn that any client will be your biggest headache. And you're going to ever have that internal turmoil that's going to go inside, and you're never going to figure out what you're doing wrong. But now, if we use that pitch, right, we're going to be able to attract the right audience that needs your help. You're going to easily be able to double and triple your income revenue while having fewer conversations. And what I mean by that is that when we zero in the pitch, and you're going to hear some of the different testimonies that I've worked with, when we zero in your pitch, you have less conversations and you start to make more sales. And you don't need nearly as many leads as some of you that I've talked to that are doing 50, 60, 70 calls a day. That's crazy. You're going to market less because referrals are going to start to naturally come in, and you're going to have peace of mind because now your finances are in that spectacular shape and you're ready to start scaling that business up and growing your teams. Well, let me just quickly go back here for a moment and say who I am, right? And why should you listen to me? First off, I'm an accelerator coach, and I help people like you overcome fear by providing a simple solution to sales. Now, why you may want to listen to me, and this is just some of my own personal experience that I've had as a serial entrepreneur. And what that means is I've had multiple businesses, multiple successful businesses. I went from being orphaned as an infant to being a decamillionaire today. And it wasn't because I didn't have challenges. There's a lot, I said I go to the school of hard knocks. There's lots of things that I've had to overcome over the years of not having the right people in the right place with the right structures. Yeah, there's tons of stories that I can tell you about that. But I have been a serial entrepreneur. I've been successful. My largest closing deal has been 1.2 million in 1 month. I'm a best-selling author of a book called Harness Your Purpose, Power, and Peace. You can get a copy on Amazon. I've created a family foundation that today is now a legacy, and it's going into the 3rd generation of kids. And I've helped well over 1,000 people double and triple their monthly revenue. So what I tell you, I'm teaching you is exactly what I've taught myself and I've taught other people to do. So now let's dive into the good stuff and let's talk about your pitch. Okay, are you ready? Make sure you have a piece of paper and you have a pen because you're going to have to start thinking this through. Your pitch. What problem does your client have? We're going to put the client who you actually work with last, and you're going to see why. So you want to first ask yourself, what problem does your client have? How does it get worse? Right? If they don't take care of it. What will happen without your help? Right? With your help, what will happen? And then who has that problem? Now I've broken these slides down so we can talk about each one of them so you can see what I mean. And I'm going to give you some examples so that this helps you. So what problem does your client have? Well, for an example, my clients here at Yarrish, they talk to the wrong leads because they're talking to everybody. They have fears of selling or being rejected. They lack the confidence in themselves. And they're trying to figure it out, building their business on their own. Those are 4 major problems that our clients have. Okay, so think about whatever your field is that you're in. So say, for instance, if you're in the insurance industry, maybe one of the products that you offer is long-term care. Okay, and maybe that's a specialty for you. You're going to see, no matter how many products you have, you're just going to take one and create a pitch around it, because that again, it's going to be authentic to you. And I'm thinking of a client that I'm working with now. she had a past experience with her family and that didn't have long-term care. So it really resonates hard for her, and she knows all the ins and outs of it. So if that, and when you think about long-term care and people that don't have it, the problem is that they, do you want your kids to make the decisions for you when you get older? Do you want to be able to stay in your home when you get older, right? Or do you want to go to a facility? Like, there's different problems that come down the line that you want to that particular client may have, that's in correlation to you. Now, without my help, for instance, here at Yarcourt and the people that we work with, without my help, they're going to continue to self-sabotage their success, right? Because they're internalizing things instead of fixing them. They're going to mentally stress and worry night and day. That's going to lead to major relationship issues and health issues. It's going to cost them more time and more money with little to no results. And most likely, these people are going to work until they die, never having fully experienced life, time and freedom and the rewards that it has to offer, right? This is going to make their life a living hell because, right, this is the third question. They're going to continue to attract the wrong clients or no clients at all. They're going to have bitterness and irritability towards it because of their own unhappiness that they're creating, right? Which leads to an unfulfilled life if they don't fix this. And they're going to ever feel stuck in their current lifestyle, never having to reach their full potential, and have deep regrets of everything that they should have done, but they never did because they were afraid of, right? Or they thought they can figure it out on their own. Let me give you an example of a great gal. Amy's a holistic practitioner, a wonderful woman out of Virginia. She helps children that have been sexually trafficked and violated reconnect to themselves and reconnect to society. It's an absolute beautiful thing. Unfortunately, when she first came to me, she was charging $50 per hour per session or nothing at all. Now she has a family of, I can't remember, it was 3 or 4 kids now, but she has at least 3 small kids and a husband. And, we all we're working, we need to provide an income for ourselves, but she really struggled with receiving money for this. Well, after working with us for about 3 or 4 months, we dialed in her pitch and we created a business structure that now generates her $7,500 per client. And we did that. It was probably about she got to the 7,500 in about 6 months. We did it gradually, but over several months after working with us, she what was $30,000 a month in revenue. She wasn't even making in a year. And mind you, she did this by only having 4 clients. Okay, so we have to condition the way we look at business, what it is that we're offering, who that client is, what's the value behind it, and then position ourselves in the right way. So for Amy, when she first left here, she started charging $2,500 because now she understood the value behind what it was that she was doing. So if you go back and you look at what I just said, if you're trying to help someone get long-term care, right, and you're in the insurance industry, how much is it going to save them in stress and anxiety with their family and their own personal life when it makes it really hard for them to make those decisions because they're ill themselves? How much or how valuable is that to them? In Amy's case, she worked with children that were, sex trafficked. How painful of a process is that? How much has that child suffered? Now, mind you, some of these children are even young adults. How much have they suffered mentally, physically? What is it worth to them to actually fix this? And when you believe in what it is that you're doing, and you see that as an entrepreneur, our job is to solve problems, and the bigger the problem is, the more money you're going to be worth down the road. And so that's just one case. So, okay, now we go back to the questions. With my help, hey. With my help, you are going to have confidence, congruency. And what I mean by congruency is the thoughts that are going on in your head is going to connect to your heart. And it's not only going to connect to your heart, it's going to connect to your gut. And there's this alignment that happens. That's going to give you the confidence. It's going to give you the positive mindset that brings about the happiness and the income that you deserve. You're going to get all the clients that you can possibly handle, never having to fear the rejection or the objections again, because you understand now what you're doing for people. And it's going to make it really easy for you to double and triple your revenue, giving you your time and freedom while having peace of mind and financial security. If I can do it, you can do it. Now, the solution that we give them, right, is that we clarify their pitch that makes it really clear for them as to what you do, who you do it for, and how you help others. We teach you the hows to develop deliverables to get to the offer that gets the result, right? We reverse engineer the plan based on the pitch. And in the process, we build a positive mindset that supports the meaning and the purpose in life that makes closing clients really easy, fun, and lucrative. It doesn't even feel like I close people. It sounds terrible, close. I like to say enroll. I have to talk to my team about changing that. We enroll people into their future dream is really what it boils down to. And you can do the same. So let's bring it all together. Here's my pitch. Hi, my name is Gina Yarrish. I'm an accelerator coach. I work with small business owners, advisors, and sales agents who want a simple solution to sales that resolves any fear of selling so that you can easily double your revenue. Do you know who I work with? Do you know what problem I solve? Do you know what problem they have? And can you see how what I do as a solution? Okay. Now, when I go out and I give this pitch and I'm networking, I'll often follow up with, do you know anybody that's in that situation? And it could be the person that's standing in front of you. Okay, so here's your pitch. Here's my name. Here's my title. We're going to talk a little bit about the title because sometimes I don't even use it. It doesn't matter what you do. You know, people go out in the industry today and say, hi, my name is Gina Yarrish. I'm a realtor. Woohoo, right? They don't really connect to it because they don't know they need you. So for some people, you can actually leave your title out. I work with, or I help, right? Who's that ideal audience who want this solution, whatever the solution may be. And I struggle with this. Now, how the pitch works. Well, when we dial in your messaging, the mindset immediately leads to that confident ability to communicate value to people, right? There's a body language that shifts in you, not only mentally, but physically in your body language, right? And remember this, people pay for their solution. They connect to the problem though. Okay, think about the advertisement in weight, right? You know you want to lose weight, but they really talk about obesity first. And so you connect to the fact that there's obesity. People connect to the fact that they suffer with fears and anxiety and stress over selling. That's what they connect with. They don't know that they need a simple solution, but they know they have a problem. So it's important for you to understand that. And when you dial that in, that messaging and that mindset all of a sudden connects. Action, it's going to be easy for you to take daily action because now you have the clarity and the confidence in order to initiate those conversations. Instead of just going out and introducing yourself and say, hi, my name is Gina Yarrish, I'm an accelerator coach. Well, where the hell do you go from there? Right? And it makes it challenging to have those conversations. The pitch gives you all of that clarity to give you the action steps of how you can, what the conversations need to go from based on what you're saying. And of course, the outcome at that point is that what you're working toward, the income level, the happiness, the freedom, the security, it's easily achievable now. So here's a couple places that we can use it, right? Social media, networking, emails, friends. When you introduce yourself, you're going to use your pitch. If you have a social media platform, whether it is a business page or a personal page, after you've developed your pitch, you simply go on there and create a video or a post that says, hey, I know you think you know me, but let me make sure you know me. My name is da 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 da, and you give your pitch. And then you ask it and you say, look, maybe you yourself are having this issue, or maybe you know somebody, could you refer them? You have to remember that in business, your job is to ask. And if you're not asking people for your business and you're just telling them what you do, they're not always going to be apt to say, oh, I need that. So you can easily introduce yourself with your pitch to anyone that you talk to, any social media platform or email that you go on. And even in networking, when you're going out and networking, it's the same thing. You use this pitch over and over again and just add that little call to action. Do you know anybody that would be interested in that service? Do you know anybody that's having that problem? And it could very well be the person that's standing in front of you. Now, as a quick recap, at this point, you know the importance of your pitch and how to develop it that's authentic to you so that you can begin to attract qualified clients and get referrals. Let me give you another case study here. Mike. Mike is an insurance broker, and this is where we talk about having fewer leads again, right? Same thing with Amy, fewer leads, more money. Mike came to me, he was pretty stressed out. He was overwhelmed. He was piled underneath like massive paperwork, but yet he was a really confident businessman. He had a great personality, great character. When we talked to him on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed he was like, Gina, forget the 1 to 10. I'm like 1,000. This is a man that's got 5 kids at home. So in a couple of weeks of working with Mike, what we realized was in his authenticity, what he was a property and casualty insurance broker, right? So PNC doing homeowners, autos. And so if you think about how many calls he was making, I want to say 50, 60 calls a day. That's a lot. 50, 60 calls a day times 5 days a week. You're talking about 250 phone calls. How many hours out of the week that had to entail? So we said, okay, well, look, we know you do property and casualty. He does BOP, he does, workers' comp, he does all these other things. And it was like, what do you really like about insurance? And he said, I really like the trucking industry. So what we decided, we created a pitch that had to do with the trucking industry. And he went out and realized he only needed 5 clients a month in order to hit his $20,000 a month revenue. Okay. So now he went from talking 200 and some odd people. He had a closing rate of 50%, which meant that if he needed 5 policies, he needed to talk to 10 to 12 people a month. So now instead of doing 250 a week, he's doing 10 to 12 a month, closing 5 of them, giving him his $20,000 a month revenue. This is what we call working smarter, not harder. Taking the time to develop what's in your internal mind, what you're really good at, what you're passionate about, and bringing it to life. Mike, in the middle of this pandemic, is working on opening up his second office. Why? Because he's authentic now, he's passionate about what he does, and he's helping people. So now here's the really good thing, and I want you to understand this, especially if you have multiple products and services that you offer. Even though Mike only went out and targeted trucking industries, once he serviced that need and built that relationship with that person, they came back to him and said, hey, bud, do me a favor. Will you look at my homeowners? Will you look at my auto? Hey, why don't you take a look at my BOP policy and my workers' comp while you're at it? So we don't need to go into there saying, hey, I'm an insurance broker. But he went out there into the industry saying that he is fully aware. I'm trying to remember his pitch. It had something to do with, my name is Mike. I work with the trucking industry. In order to alleviate time and maximize, I forget what it was, but it was about trucking industry having so much, owners are so busy, they don't have the time to get it right. And so he was their eyes and ears and took that stress off their plate kind of thing. Maybe I'll remember it before we get off. And that's all he pitched. He didn't pitch that he was property and casualty. He didn't pitch that he was an insurance broker anymore. He helped the trucking industry gets the least amount of help the trucking industry get the least amount of premiums with the best coverage so that the owners could do what they were good at, and that was their job, something along that line. And it made perfect sense, and it made it easy for people to connect with, and especially where we live and so he was in the Northeast Pennsylvania area. We have a lot of industry here, so it was perfect. So now stay with me, because in a minute we're going to work on your pitch. Remember that it's more than a pitch. And this is just the surface that we're touching on, because once we understand the pitch, it's going to start to give us that confidence and that clarity, but then we have to start to learn how to reverse engineer everything. So get yourself some help so that you can go further faster in less time and less money. I promise. There was a question I asked the other day, and sometimes I can't always remember what I say. What thought are you investing the most in? Right? Or what is it that you're reluctant to do, and how much is it costing you? Anyway, so investing in a coach, first off, because of them, you're going to have new ideas just like you have now that you wouldn't have had before. But now you do, because you've made the time to come here and just see this live training with me. As a coach, we also help you to bridge that gap from where you are to what it is that you want to be able to accomplish with a structure and support. It's kind of like that accountability person. If you go to the gym and you start exercising and you have a private trainer, you're going to get the result you want, because that private trainer is going to help you to get there. He's not going to let you fall down. It's the same thing when you have a business coach. They're going to help you to get to much higher levels of success in a shorter amount of time, quicker, faster, and easier, because they've already done it and they know what to teach you. When you invest in a coach, it quickly pays off, because you'll automatically begin to increase the number of sales and prospects that you've agreed to work with based on what you learned from your coach. And doing it without a coach, you're going to spend years of suffering trying to figure it out on your own, trying to adapt to other people's methods, and it really doesn't work. It just doesn't. Been there, done that. So here's our next steps. After you get your messaging developing, you want to develop the process and the deliverables, okay? You get your messaging. So for us, the simple solution to sales, my deliverables then would be, what steps do I have to show them or teach them in order for them to get that simple solution? That's what you would be asking yourself. And so today I promised you how to dial in your pitch. Once you have that pitch, it's going to give you that total confidence so that you can begin to market yourself, right? And then you're going to eliminate that self-doubt and that inability so that you wake up excited for the day again. I don't know about you, but we're going to work one-on-one here in just a few minutes so that we can help some of you dial in your pitch. And I promise you, it's going to excite you. It's going to make your heart start to beat again, and you're going to get excited about the work that you do. So now you know you need a little bit more help. If you just want to dial in your pitch and then you want to go out there, okay, so be it. Somewhere down the line, make sure you copy and paste the information I put in the chat, because what I do and why I do it is, honestly, it fills my life purpose and my dream, and it fills my soul. Being orphaned and not having anyone to help you, it's one of my ways that I love to give back, and it honestly just fills that soul. So in the chat box, that last link that I gave you was for a strategy call. That's a one-on-one call with me for about an hour, where we're going to help dial in that pitch for you, or look at where your business is and figure out if that's just the problem or there's something bigger. But know this, whatever your story is, no matter how awkward it feels, no matter how much you're embarrassed to share whatever it is that you've got going on, I can tell you, I've probably done it. So don't worry. Don't worry about that. Just open up your heart. Know that you're in a safe place. Know that we can have a really healthy conversation, and I'm here to help you. All right. So again, who is this for when we do these calls? You have to be 100% ready to get help. It's not just a Band-Aid that you really want to fix and be successful. You have to be good at what it is that you do and be ready to receive that help, as well as be 100% coachable and honest. And I think the last one that's really important to me that I should really have up here is about being decisive, right? It can't be like, well, I don't know, I'm afraid, maybe if I don't. And we have all those crazy internal conversations. You just have to be decisive, because when you're decisive, your clients are going to be decisive, right? Because like attracts like. All right, so this is the link, but I did put it in the chat box at the beginning. It's that last link if you'd like to have a strategy call with me. I know that there's no more time this week, but I think there's still some slots next week that are open. So feel free to jump on board, and I look forward to having some one-on-one calls with you. Now let's dive into the good stuff. We've got about 20 minutes. And let's see who we can help. Miss Charmaine, come on, girl. Come online. Yeah, you. I see you sweating over there. Oh my God, she's going to pick on me. I know she's going to pick on me. I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Try again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It was my volume.
Okay, great.
All right. So you've put something in the chat here, but tell me what you do and where you're from.
Okay, so I am Charmaine Wilson. I am from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I am with Legal Shield. And so as I placed in the chat, I educate people on the importance of having 24-hour legal representation and identity theft protection. We have 2 products that we market. And just like what you said, Gina, I need to dial in my pitch.
Okay. Well, now Legal Shield offers a lot of different type of legal services for a lot of different audiences. And this is a perfect example, just like an insurance company. They have lots of products But when you're trying to sell to the big picture, then it makes it really hard for people to see who can actually do business with you. But if we get something dialed in specifically, well, then all of a sudden people understand and there's that clarity. So let me ask you, have you in your lifetime needed an attorney for something?
Absolutely.
Okay, what part of your life?
So when I first came to this country,
Mhm.
originally from the island of Jamaica, and when I came to this country, I had to get my status, my legal status.
Mhm.
So I was here, before I got that legal status, and then I had to, go through the process with the lawyer, prove my case,
Mhm.
and got my,
Does Legal Shield help for that?
yes, they do.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. In coming to this country, what were some problems that you had?
In coming to,
You're getting your citizenship here, yes?
yes.
What was the problems that you had?
Well,
That you needed an attorney for?
oh, well, I had to prove that, well, I was already here, so I had to prove that, I was a good citizen. I didn't commit any crimes. I had to show that I was working and I was, providing to the benefit of society,
Mhm.
that I wasn't on welfare. Yeah, so the 3 years that I was here prior, I had to prove, and I had to show my pay stub, stuff like that, that I had a job and stuff like that.
So these are the things that you had to do, but the problem, right? These are the things that you had to do. It wasn't necessarily a problem. When I think about a problem, I think about not knowing what to do in order to get the citizenship.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay, so there's a problem. So if you're,
Right.
so write it down as I say it, because I can't remember it once I say it.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is that if you're coming into this country and you don't know what to do, and you want every part of being a citizen of the United States, and you'd like legal representation at a minimal cost, well, then call Charmaine Wilson. Do you see how we just did that?
Yeah.
Now, well, once people come to you because of citizenship, it doesn't mean that they're not going to need other legal services, right? But that's what makes it unique to you, because you can talk to that space. So now if you take 8 billion people that are in the United States, how many of them do you think are not citizens?
Oh, wow.
Do you see what I mean? Yeah, lots. Do you think that's something that you can do?
Absolutely.
Now, do you see how to use this?
Yes.
Okay, so you put together your pitch, what I just said, but it has to resonate with you in your words, right? So the problems that come up with 2 or 3 problems. You're a citizen, you don't know what to do, and you don't have a lot of money, but you need legal representation, right? So for a minute, so the problems are, fearful of who to talk to. Maybe I'm afraid I don't know who to talk to get my citizenship, and the solution is inexpensive legal representation.
Absolutely.
You see how that connects?
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait for you to start using this.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Miss Katisha.
I am here, my dear. I am here.
Okay. Well, you were here with me last week. I'm interested to hear what your pitch is.
Well, my pitch is still being defined because, as you stated, financial services have so many things to offer, and I'm really trying to drill down on what would be a unique solution.
Mhm.
So I'm still not there yet, because now I'm thinking I kind of want to switch to mainly focus on kids. I mentioned small businesses, but I'm just really struggling with what I want to hone down on, to be honest with you.
Well, remember that when we talked about kids and giving back to the community, it's not kids that have money, right? But it's the parents that have money.
Just educating the kids, and then in turn winning over the parents, though. I mean, because it starts with the kids. I think as adults, when we're already uneducated, that's the failure. I
Well,
think
but
it's,
yeah, I agree, but let me give you a different perspective for a moment. If you try to, it's kind of like pushing a rope up a hill or letting gravity work for you. If you try to teach the kids and then you want the kids to teach the parents, I mean, that becomes a challenge. But if you teach the parents, well, then the gravity is going to work, that's going to go downhill, and anything below or above, it's going to work. It makes sense?
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
So ideally, you want to go in and really teach the parents. But if you're teaching parents about finances and they don't have money, that's not going to help you in your job.
Okay.
We've had this conversation where we said, let's find something that you can relate to, so you can generate that wealth, so you can go back into the community of where you grew up, and then begin to help those parents.
Understood. I think I'm just still at a point of me honing down. I mean, we have so many services, and I'm probably going to stick with small business, but I still need to come in there with a solution for small business, as opposed to just say, hey, I can offer you this, this, and that.
Well, like Charmaine, let me ask you something. What have you experienced with finances in your life?
What have I experienced in finance in my life? The lack of knowing how to invest them is what I've experienced. I mean, early on in my young adult years, I did experience bankruptcy. But other than that, I recovered. It only took me one time, and I never went through that again. So that was because of lack of knowledge. No one was there to teach me what and what not to do straight out of college.
So who do you most resonate with in as far as like relationship? Is it corporate people? Is it moms? Is it dads? Is it couples? It doesn't necessarily have to be businesses, because when you said lack of knowing financial education, like not being knowledgeable about finances, and then having that problem of a bankruptcy, I'm thinking like middle-aged couples, could be middle-aged couples, could be single moms, could be, so the problem is that they're suffocated with college debt.
Yep.
Right. So, maybe, are you married or single?
I am married.
Okay. So maybe it's middle-aged married couples, right, that have suffered with college debt, are doing everything possible, or maybe had a bankruptcy already, and they've just started to come into money. They just started to save again. Do you know what I mean? So
That's
you're
good. And
yeah. Do you see where that's going now?
I can see where that's going, and it's relatable too. So
it's relatable. You can talk about it. You've experienced it. So middle-aged couples that were suffocated with college debt, maybe had a bankruptcy, or maybe not, but on the verge of a bankruptcy. No, you don't want that.
no.
That wouldn't work. Middle-aged couples that are just suffocated in debt, trying to create a savings and don't know who to get financial advice from, but want to be able to build their wealth.
Good. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. It makes sense.
Because now you can relate to that. So how many middle-aged couples could you connect with that through like an alumni? Right? If you've come out of college, they have an alumni, right? So just starting there, or it could be professional networking groups where, even local chambers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's tons of people in the chamber that have come through college and they're middle-aged people that have suffered with college debt. Just starting that conversation and asking them the call to action, like we talked about last week and the other day. Do you know anyone that has college debt that would like to start building their wealth?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How many
That's
people?
awesome.
How many people would say yes?
A lot of people.
Okay, great. Like, all right. Again, look at the big picture. How many people? 8 billion people in the world. If half of them are middle-aged couples, and another half of them, so half of 8 billion is 4 billion. And even if you said 10% of that suffer from college debt, that's like 400,000 people that could use your service.
Hmm.
Would that be enough customers?
That would be more than enough customers.
Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? But we, instead of not, we come at it in an aspect of just being a financial advisor and looking at on a local perspective and connecting with people in the general community or whatever. But really, there's such a large audience out there that can use your help if you zero it in.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
Again, that's awesome. Even though this is my second round, this is still something new from last time.
Listen, when you start to, and you know, this is only the beginning. If you work with me, you're going to find my thinking is not the same as most people. And so the way you change your thinking is being in the presence of other people that can help you leverage that so that you can go further faster by not, because the knowledge you have today, and hear me when I say this, the knowledge you have today is what has gotten you to where you are. It's not the same knowledge that you need to move forward.
Understood.
You need new knowledge. Okay. What do we got? We got about 4 or 5 minutes. Erin or Telia, would either one of you like to give it a shot? If I don't get to you again, feel free, you can jump on. It's the link that says oncehub.com at Yarcourt. In fact, I can even put it in the bottom here where we can do a one-on-one call. This is the strategy call. Does either one of you want to give it a shot? You just have to unmute yourself. Hello, Miss Telia. Telia.
Hey, Tila, yeah, you've helped me before, Gina.
I did? Aww.
Yeah.
Gee, I'm so sweet.
Let me.
Remind me what you do.
I'm a lender, residential mortgage broker.
Oh, I remember you.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you, she says.
Well,
You make
listen.
it sound like
No,
you make
go
it sound
ahead.
like I'm a problem.
No,
The trouble
Oh, look.
student.
Oh, look where her head just went. Was that uplifting or draining?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I mean, I was just kidding though.
No,
That's true.
we only want positive thoughts. There's a really great book out there that I always tell everyone to read. It's called PMA, Positive Mental Attitude by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Um,
He wrote
Think
Think Rich, Grow Rich. Yeah, didn't he?
Yep.
What was it called?
It's PMA, Positive Mental Attitude. You can get it off Amazon. In fact, I think you can even get it on your Kindle for like less than $1. And the Audible, if you have Audible, it's free, I think, on Audible.
Okay.
Positive,
What was the name of your book?
Harness Your Purpose. Harness Your Purpose, Power, and Peace. And you can, if you go on Amazon, you can just Google my name as well, because there's more books there.
Okay.
But that was the first book that I wrote that became a #1. All right.
Aw.
I have a hard stop in 5 minutes, so I'm going to do the best that I can. If I'm not mistaken, did you book a call and then cancel it or something?
Yes, I did have to cancel it.
Okay.
So this is what I have, and I'm struggling with finding out what my clients struggle with. But my name is Tila Smith. I'm a residential mortgage loan officer, and I work with first-time home buyers who want to purchase their first home, and they're struggling with finding the right loan officer who will give them the service and communication that they need throughout their home purchase.
Too long. But good. You're getting there from the last time. Again, so let me ask you something. Have you bought your own place yet?
I have not.
You have not.
I need to. I'm looking into it next year.
Okay.
So maybe that's something, is like trying to get qualified. Struggling with getting qualified, maybe, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about first-time home buyers, just being in real estate for 30 years, I remember, coming in, the first thing we did was had a connection with a lender that could really walk them through and get them pre-qualified, hold their hand, give them the list of what they need, so the problem being, like you said, not knowing who to talk to. Uneducated in the mortgage industry. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 3, it could be 2. But I work with first-time buyers that are uneducated in the mortgage industry and not sure who to talk to. And they want an easy transition to purchase a home. An easy, painless transition in purchasing their home. Right? It's really specific. And then you could connect with realtors and you give them that pitch, Telia. They specifically understand, like, oh my God, I work with first-time buyers all the time. This is such a hassle. Well, sure, here's my name and phone number. Do you have anyone you're working with now? Can you refer someone? Are there
So
any?
you're saying give this same pitch to agents and first-time home buyers?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hi, my name is Telia Smith and I work with first-time home buyers that, yada, 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 yada. Are you working with any first-time home buyers that could use my services? Are there any agents in your office that work with first-time buyers? You could go to the local board, board of realtors, and they have luncheons and meetings and networking events. And you can go there and introduce yourself, pass your card around, make sure your card talks about first-time home buyers. And yeah, connect that way. So again, you want to go to, when we're thinking about where are my clients, right? This is another tip about mentally thinking about, do I want to talk to one person, right? Mike talked to 50, 60 people. Or who can we talk to that has my clients? Right. And so that's where I say you go to realtors that specifically work with first-time home buyers. There's even agents that advertise themselves that way. Right. Board of realtors. Right. You can go to conventions. Right. Wherever there's people that, there's even mortgage companies out there that want nothing to do with first-time buyers. Right. Some of these guys want nothing to do with first-time buyers. So those people have your clients. So if you can get one person that specifically works with with realtors and first-time buyers, you ask yourself powerful questions, you'll get powerful answers. You ask yourself simple questions, you'll get simple answers. So who has my clients that I can connect with? And start making a list. And so this way you're only talking to one person versus talking to 60, 70, 80 people a day. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I got 2 minutes before I jump on a coaching call with one of my clients. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I hope this was really, really awesome for you and you've gotten some good takeaways. Your job now is to start using it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good.
Sound good? Telia, get back on a call with me, girl.
Okay. I
All
will
right.
do. Thank you,
Sounds-
Gina.
You're very
All right.
welcome. Charmaine, we'll talk soon. Katisha,
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
we're going to talk.
Bye.
Bye. Katisha, we're going to talk again soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, you get on my calendar, send me a message.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, see you guys
Bye.
later.